excitement about Cleveland sports.
He's going in! Touchdown!
Browns, Indians, Cavs, the Big Ten, and more.
Cleveland is a city of champions once again!
Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond.
A swing and a drive! To deep right!
Here are your hosts, Andy Billman and Jarid Watson.
And we are live on Facebook and Twitter. Hello and welcome, Andy and Jarid, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jarid Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Happy Super Bowl weekend, and we're doing, Super Bowl weekend. We're doing a quick reset. I need to do a reset right now, as the Browns have made news with hirings and appearances. So for those of you listening to the podcast, there's going to be a second opening to the show. This will just be a brief recap of the week, and afterwards a longer show will follow, obviously. So some stuff had happened before we posted this episode, so we wanted to add this in. So if you're watching on Facebook and Twitter, we're just going to do a quick 10 minutes and roll right through. Let's start out with Baker Mayfield on Get Up.
Again, we've learned this. You don't win any games in the offseason with good PR. But I thought the Browns, I thought they actually needed was a good. I mean, if you're a Browns fan, you should be pleased.
Yes.
I don't think you're ecstatic, but I think you're very pleased. I think some things settled down. And that's something that was very different from when you and I talked last. It still felt weird and strange. I must admit, it doesn't feel perfect, but gosh, it feels a lot more settled than what it did when we were doing the podcast last time. Baker Mayfield did a good job, to a great job. He looked good. He sounded good. He said the right things. He admitted fault. It's a home run type of appearance. He actually looks like a changed man.
And that surprised me. I didn't know if he was going to get there, because there was a level of maturity that came with his statements regarding, hey, I take He's always been good at saying the taking of ownership type of words. I take ownership of this. I shouldn't have said that. He said it best. He put his foot in his mouth a lot last season. And I can't say anything other than, hey, I'm glad he recognizes everything. I'm glad he recognizes the road ahead. I'm glad he recognizes more than anything what he can control and what he can't control.
Yes,
and that being at the top of importance for him. And that meant a lot to me.
He emphasized throughout on the field. I don't want to sound too dramatic, because we've seen this stuff before from other athletes, and you just don't know. Right. But I'll be admitting for the first time, I've never seen that Baker Mayfield, what I saw on Friday. He looked very humbled. Mm-hmm. He was still very confident. He was still very cocky, but he was cocky in the way you want to see it. He goes, hey, look, the 49ers, how did you play against them? He goes, I wouldn't call exactly what I did playing. And I thought that was very tongue-in-cheek, good humor. I love this Baker Mayfield. This is the Baker Mayfield we all fell in love with. And I think but even with that said, Jared, I don't think I've seen this guy yet. And it excited me. I got excited for the first time in a long time about next year. When after that appearance, I'm like, you know what? Let's go. Like, this is cool. Let's strap it up. That was a home run appearance. The quote of it was that you were just mentioning, quote, let's just be honest. I put my foot in my mouth a lot this past year. I'm going to internalize that, end quote. Can't get any better.
No, that works for me.
Yeah, I just think this was needed. You could tell this was orchestrated. And again, more than the words, he looked good. You hate to say that about towards the end of the year, if we're all being honest, he looked really beat up. He looked tired. He didn't look, and obviously he hasn't been playing, so that's part of it too. And these are coming off games, so you're not going to look your best. But even with that said, we've seen Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and all these other quarterbacks, and they look kept up. Baker did not look kept up after these games last year.
He looks refreshed.
He looks big time refreshed.
And let's not confuse that with some of the internet trolls out there that are taking pictures of Baker without a shirt on or whatever, and zooming in and circulating and claiming he's out of shape and whatever. That again is a whole conversation.
That's a kind. And by the way, for people out there who don't know, pictures are very deceiving. And photos are very deceiving. So I will warn someone. I don't want to go on a big lecture about this. This might be a different podcast. Photos are deceiving, especially with nowadays on phones. Don't get thrown off by phone images. And by the way, I don't even think you look bad in the phone images.
No, don't get thrown off by. Matter. Who cares? Yeah, and all you have to do is go right back to the photo. How many photos out there that are unflattering of Eli Manning and Tom Brady?
That's my point.
Let's just say.
That's my point. And again, let alone someone like me, let alone someone like other people.
Andy and I are going to take our shirts off. And
no, we're not. Viewership at 0.
We're on to be like Bert Kreischer style. We can do it.
Exactly. But no, I just think at the end of the day, that was a much needed moment. And I felt for the first time excited about next year. Yeah. That appearance excited me. He didn't say a whole lot, but it was the same Baker Mayfield,
perfect,
but very filtered. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and Rex Ryan hugging it out and everything too.
Yeah. By the way, they talked a lot. Boy, Spears and Rex Ryan at one point did a 2-minute monologue. I'm like, are you going to interview 6? Or are you just going to talk about yourselves?
Well, they're getting paid by the word, Andy. So.
Well, yes, as we all know. But anyways, to leave it there, I thought that was a good week for Baker Mayfield. Yeah. I thought this was also outstanding news. And Callie Bronson's going to be the head chief of staff for the Browns. She has been out there a lot in recent weeks, and I think this is a great hire by Stefanski. She is going to be the take it from the AP article. She where's the exact details here? Stefanski, it's going to be very involved in every aspect of football operations, Stefanski said. Okay. Callie is uniquely situated where she can go interact with football ops, PR, the locker room, or the equipment room. She's really the liaison to the rest of the building for me. I'm going to lean on her heavily, and I already have, end quote. I think this is a wonderful hire.
Solid generalist. I somebody who can touch all of those spaces and feel comfortable.
She is very bright. She's a football person. Great hire. I was ecstatic by that hire. I think this is the kind of stuff you're already seeing in the NBA. It's starting to come in baseball. I think this is a great hire. And for people who don't know, Becky Hammonds at the Spurs is a wonderful example. She knows her stuff. She's going to be a head coach someday. It's coming. And this is the kind of thing where the Browns are doing the same thing. I love that they're out ahead of this. I'm a big fan of this. Big fan. Alex Van Pelt is your offensive coordinator. I did a shoulder shrug. I looked at Alex Van Pelt. I remember him as a quarterback for Pittsburgh and for the Bills. I looked at his career as a coordinator. He did 1 year for the Bills. He did a lot of time as offensive coordinator. He did 1 year as an OC for the Bills. The rest of the time, he's always been a quarterback coach. Right. So he hasn't really done a lot of OC time. I think the bigger thing here with Van Pelt is you can't tell from a 2009 1-year stint as a Bills interim offensive coordinator that what he can do. You just can't. And the Bills weren't good in 2009, so it doesn't matter.
Well, and here's the thing. Who's calling the plays?
Well,
is the OC calling the plays, or is Stefanski calling the plays, right?
Let's put on our genie cap. Kevin Stefanski's calling plays. That's what this hire meant.
Yeah.
That's what this hire meant.
Yeah. That's what I thought. And I don't know. All right.
Ready? I'm going to say, I think what you're thinking. Don't like it. So I wish you the best of luck.
Yes.
But I would not advise this.
Correct.
But do what you got to do.
I will say that the one thing that will sit here in the back of my mind as the sole reassurance that we are pointing our offense in the right direction is there's a statement made when you're signing a fullback.
That's good.
At the time that they did, that was a statement signing, in my opinion.
Yes.
Would you agree?
Yes. I actually want to go twofold with this. Yes. For how much, I don't want to speak for you, but I think I will. We both love Dorsey. Dorsey had some bad misses in 19. He did not have a good year. He had a great 18, and he did a nice job in the offseason of 17. He did not have a good 2019. And that was one of the misses. A fullback's not going to win you 10 games, but he could win you a game and a half or a game. And the Browns, in so many situations, and I will point to anybody who goes, when do you really need a fullback? Watch the goal line situations for the Browns last year. They'd have tight ends or people out of position who did not know where to go. I mean, it wasn't right. They would run a bunch set on the goal line when they really were only getting success running when they'd spread it out, try to hit the edges. They had no press up the middle. None. And it usually would be like a tight end or some sort of pseudo offensive lineman, and they would just be lost. They had a really hard time blocking. So that was weird. So that was a good thing. Again, for Alex Van Pelt, shoulder shrug. I don't know if it's good or bad. I really don't. I don't know if it's good or bad, but whatever. But the bigger thing here is the calling plays guy, unless it's something we just don't know or realizing is going to be is going to be Mr. Stefanski. Okay, 99% sure Joe Woods is in his DC. For people who don't know, you can't really announce these things till after the Super Bowl. It's protocol. It's proper. But he basically acknowledged that we talked is the quote he put in there. And obviously have a relationship with Kevin. I worked with him in Minnesota for 8 years, but nothing's going to be decided until after the Super Bowl. And he said some other things after that. But Joe Woods basically got the job. So I take that as a good thing. What does it mean on the field? Shoulder shrug. He's never been in DC before, so I don't know.
I've quit with trying to decide whether I'm happy or upset at any of these hires.
Again, shoulder shrug. The one thing I like about it is he's coming from a defense that was very good on the field. The other thing I like about it is that he wanted to work for Stefanski, and Stefanski knows him. I think that is because of what Stefanski's going to do with Van Pelt. I think that's huge here for what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a good thing. And, we'll just have to wait and see. But the bigger thing here about the Joe Wood story is I'm glad now it's confirmed. It's not official, but it's basically confirmed. It's 99% there.
Correct.
It is as close as you're ever going to get to something like that. So that I thought was a good thing. We didn't put one other thing in here. Then we'll get to the Highsmith and Wolf stuff at the end. There's going to be a bunch of hires, whether it's Callahan, running back, quarterback, even quarterback coach. Here's my quick opinion about all these different position coaches. Outside of special teams, OC, and DC, even quarterback coach, I'm a little bit interested in quarterback coach. After that, I just don't think these things are as important to us as it is to the team itself, and we don't even know what that means in a deeper level. So for people, I've seen people get excited.
Yeah, because there's so much that it comes down to, Andy, how are they going to interact with each other?
That's my point.
I don't need folks in the front office or I don't need the owner sitting there telling me how these are leaders of men. I don't need any of those comments. I don't need to hear things about culture change and leaders of men and I don't need any of that. I just need to see them work together, make a team come together and win football games. Again,
offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, I care about.
Yeah.
Everything else, even quarterback coach.
Yes, again.
Yeah. It's just semantics. The last thing is the only thing I think that should give people not a surprise, but a little bit of pause. Highsmith, Elliott Wolf, and Steve Mullen. Steve Mullen was the college personnel. What was his official title? I know he's college scouting director, Steve Mullen. So here's my quick 10 cents about this. This was coming. That's why we talked about a month ago. It was odd that Highsmith and Wolf were still around. I was surprised they did that. Kudos to those guys for sticking around. They're pros. They did their job. Highsmith, there was no way Highsmith was coming back. Steve Mullen, I'll be surprised. I don't really know Steve Mullen, but when a new guy comes in, they're going to put a new college scouting director in. It's their choice. So those didn't have a chance. Everything you're hearing in the tea leaves about Elliott Wolf, it was a similar situation in Dorsey, where I think that they try to keep him, sure, but they were going to demote him. Elliott Wolf is the kind of guy who's going for the job of the GM for the Packers a few years ago. I don't know if a demotion is what he's doing in his career right now. So that really didn't have a chance either. My all big thing about this is it's all about analytics. It shouldn't be surprising when you heard Dee Podesta's statements and everything that's been going on. Dee Podesta is the man in Cleveland. So this is all of his vision and everything else. This is the only one where it's cautionary. Elliott Wolf's a talented guy. He's going to get gobbled up quickly. And you just wish someone like that could stay around, but it's not surprising. And Jared, this is the only one that makes you worried. It's like, this is all analytics. It's all, again, I wouldn't even say it's Andrew Berry. It's all Dee Podesta. Dee Podesta now is really running this ship in Berea, and it's going to be his vision, as he said. So we're about ready to see it played out because all the Dorsey stuff's cleaned out now. All of it's cleaned out.
Is Dee Podesta still running things is he still out west? Yeah.
We don't have enough time to talk about that today, but I think that is an interesting statement all to itself. But he's the man. He is the man. If we had another 10 minutes, I would talk about that, but he is the man.
I don't want to talk about it because it just makes me angry.
Look, there's my 30-second rant on it. Paul, I'm not saying anything else more than this. If for the job you're about ready to do, stay in Berea 365. This team needs it. It's what's best for the team. You are paid a lot of money to do what's best for the team. Stay in Berea full time. Help this team out. Please. Please. We need help. Please. Please help. I don't want to fucking do this show next year again. But we're talking about hires, and I don't want to.
Why not? We get better every time we do it. It's a more polished. It's a more polished turnover show.
I mean, again, he should be staying in Berea. He won't. I think that's a mistake. We'll see what happens. It's out of our hands. So
there we are. Plenty of mistakes still being made by the Browns. But a lot of it is still going to be wait and see how this all plays out on the field. We will not give them the benefit of the doubt, but we will not form our full opinions until we see some of that as well. Yeah. Andy, there's nothing else to really add, I don't believe.
No, it wasn't this week. We weren't planning to do anything, but because of all the news the Browns made, which, by the way, that train has continued. Yeah. The Browns make news all the time, and this week was not short of it. Again, the Baker Mayfield, the Callie hire, the Joe Woods thing, Alex Van Pelt. I think these are all good things. Highsmith Wolf, I got to admit, I was bummed, but I already knew that was happening, so I wasn't surprised about that. But this was the first week I got excited about 2020 on the field. After Baker's appearance, I started getting really excited about 2020. That was a glimmer of hope. It was a glimmer of turning the page. And you know what? Even with anything we may not disagree, agree, whatever, hey, I'm on Stefanski and I'm on DePodesta's train too. Let's win these games, boys. Let's win these games. I'm not agreeing with every decision you guys make, but let's go. And seeing Six being that excited on the set makes me excited.
Well, time heals everything.
As we all know. So
we'll leave it at that.
So for those of you who are listening on the podcast, enjoy some award shows at the very end, and we talk about the Andrew Berry stuff, and we also get into the Super Bowl bets a little bit. And for everybody on Facebook, thanks for joining us live.
And we are live on Facebook and Twitter. Hello and welcome, Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson, and this podcast is brought to you by Waiting for Next Year. Check them out, original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Well, welcome back. And after a dramatic pause and George Patton scramble, the Browns end up with, drum roll, Andrew Berry. We kind of knew that was coming. Andy had called it a while ago. So that's breaking on Monday here. Berry will be the GM, the youngest GM in the league at 32 years old. I believe that he is only one of two African-American GMs in the league as well. Returning to the Browns after working for them from 2016 to 2018 as vice president of player personnel. Kareem Hunt, another story here, was pulled over for speeding, and he also was caught with marijuana along with an open container of vodka, according to dash cam that was released. Said he couldn't pass a drug test too. That's not helping things right now.
Not good.
What do lawyers say? Shut up. The Dolan family was given the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Cleveland Sports Awards and gave some thoughts about Lindor. Again, enjoy him. The Cavs, after a win in Denver, are now in a free fall, except for tonight.
They're going to win tonight. I'm calling it. It's not jinx. They're up 20 points.
By the time we finish this episode, it's going to be.
They're up 20 points with 10 minutes. They're going to win this game.
No, I'm not counting any chickens over here. They've lost 7 in a row since, though, with bad losses to the Knicks, Wizards, and the Bulls twice along the way. Oh, they're losing games they shouldn't be. Yeah, we're also going to give our thoughts on the Super Bowl prop bets, and we have our first annual. Did you just put in the script and make me say first annual? I feel like I'm breaking journalism rules.
This is our first annual.
It's only an annual until when we do it next year. You can't start that with the first year.
Oh, I like saying first annual. Is that one of those English things?
I'm sorry. It's a journalism thing.
I know.
It's a rule. It's a broad.
University of Toledo did not teach me not to say that. I apologize. But it's the first ever awards ever.
So yeah, first ever AJCB Awards. Stay tuned for that, of course. But first, we'd like to pass our condolences as basically anyone who cares about sports in general, and many more than that around the world are mourning the tragic news and the loss, death of Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter, 6 other passengers, and the pilot of the helicopter that they were in crashed out in California. Terrible news. And of course, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who has been affected by this awful tragedy.
I mean, just really sad news. The thing that I'm not shocked, but I've just been, this is one of those moments where a lot of reaction from young and old, famous and non, from points all around the globe. Kobe Bryant definitely had a big effect, and he affected a lot of people and really made a big impact on a lot of people. It was really sad, awful stuff. It's one of those moments you'll probably remember where you were, who you're with, and who you're talking to when it happened. And again, just so sad and so obviously so tragic when something like that happens. So thoughts and juju to everybody out there who's been affected by this. And again, I've been really blown away by how many people have come out and told stories. Yeah. I mean, this is the week of the Super Bowl, and Kobe Bryant by far is as it should be, is the biggest news story. Might be all the way up until Thursday or Friday.
The news was breaking right around the time that everything was getting rolling for the Pro Bowl. And it was just, everyone was shocked. We saw the outpouring from certain teams, and I believe that we've already got a team that's retiring the number 24, and it's not even
Mavericks.
Yet. Yeah, it was the Mavericks. There you go. And I was the Raptors. What game was that?
Spurs Raptors. Every
Raptors game that they ran out the 24 claw.
Yeah, every NBA game that I saw had actually done that, which I thought was a good thing. And he obviously made such a large impact, and globally, because his dad did play in Italy and he spoke Italian, did a lot for the went over to China a lot. So it was spending a lot of time over there in Asia and whatever else. And again, he was a true ambassador. Sometimes that word gets thrown around way too much, but he was a true ambassador for the game. It made an impact on so many lives, women and men around the world.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the thing with Kobe is, as a Cleveland sports fan, he wasn't someone that I was a fan of, but at the same time, you respect his game and you respect what he's done for the league, and you respect what he's done after leaving. Which, by the way, it blew my mind, because when you hear of people retiring, you think they're older, and then you got to realize they're professional athletes. They retire younger than most of us.
Yep.
And I forgot that he's only 41 years old. So.
40. I think he's 42. He's born in 78.
Oh, there you go. 42.
Maybe I'm wrong. It's either 41 or 42. Now,
the point being is, I had a lot of existential stuff going on after hearing about this, because it just age wise hits close to home. You got to take every day
right
and do the most with it, I guess. So.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing too here with that whole thing, he wasn't going on a helicopter crash because he was going to a nightclub or he's going from casinos. He was taking his own kid and other kids and other players and other moms and dads to a game. Yeah. It says a lot about him. I mean, that says a lot about a guy, because that's not cheap. It's not something that it's not something you want to do, but he's doing it because he thinks it's best for him and his family, and just said a lot about him. And again, I'm not surprised, but I have been taken aback by the amount of response. Yeah. Saw on CNBC today, obviously SportsCenter, CNN. I flipped around, a lot of people talking about it still. And like I said, when this kind of things happen, which is not surprising, I think it's going to carry. And this is Super Bowl week. It doesn't feel like Super Bowl week. And that just tells you how big of a deal it is. So
yep. There you go.
There you go. So again, everybody, thoughts and prayers and juju out there for whatever you do being affected by this, as we all are at some point.
Yep.
All right, transitioning to the Browns the best we can. So GM Andrew Berry, you teed it up. I was going to say the same thing. I don't know how many of you were surprised. Andrew Berry's back. Cue up the welcome back music. I was going to go on a big rant tonight, because we're going to do the show tonight no matter what. I was going to go on a big rant if the Browns had not made a decision, because they are losing time. I thought this decision was done late. I thought their head coaching search went really normal. I thought this GM search went murky, odd, slow. And I think for a team that has a lot of challenges and a lot of building blocks to discuss, I thought they hired this guy way too late. But that's not here now. I'm glad they didn't. I was going to go on a rant if they did not hire him by Super Bowl Sunday.
Andy, the stuff that I'm hearing is it goes right back to the 1-31 stuff. There's an equal amount of praise in regard to the hire and the way things are structured, where it seems like this is the most aligned plan wise that we've seen everyone be on at one time. and then you look to the other side and you're like, we already tried this route. It didn't work the last time. Andrew Berry is attached to Sashi. As much as you don't want to count that, you have to. And I think that there's skepticism on that side of things because, well, let's face it, the next thing we're looking forward to is free agency. And then, of course, drafts. And the drafts didn't work out for them. I think that Njoku and Myles Garrett were the bright spots.
Schobert.
And Schobert, which, by the way, this bodes well for Schobert getting a deal.
I agree.
Possibly.
Well, I think there's a lot of we've all talked about this, but let's hammer it home. 1-31 has a horrible stench, and they've all earned it. Sorry. Even if Andrew Berry didn't make all these decisions, even if Andrew Berry wasn't a part of every one of these decisions, he was in that room. He did a lot. He's influenced, and he has that stench. Does he deserve a chance to prove himself? Absolutely. Does he deserve a chance to really lead this team and do good things? Absolutely, he will. But for people to be shocked by feedback of a weirdness, well, it should. And on top of it, he's young. He's only 32, taking a big-time job. And again, the good thing is he knows DePodesta. The good thing is he knows the building. The good thing is he knows some things. So that helps. But again, this GM's coming in late. This is a late hire. The Senior Bowl's already happened. There's already things it's already happened. It's like we're catching up again.
All right, just take from the Ray Farmer playbook. You don't need to go.
I know. Seriously. Well, good news. You already fucking missed it, so who cares, right?
Watch the tape.
Oh my gosh, seriously. It's only. I just hope for Andrew's sake, because he knows the organization and because he's been here, he can hit the ground running, because I think he needs to. The Browns' job is optical illusional to some, where it's like he's got players and stuff, but there's some tough decisions to be made here. And we're not going to really evolve them today, but there's tough things that need to be done. And, for him to come in here late, I think it hurts. So we'll see if he can be able to catch up. We'll see if he gets his ground running.
Let me ask you this, though. Do you think this was a part of the plan? Do you think that I know that we knew that the possibility of Andrew Berry coming was definitely at the top of possibilities. But at the same time, with it being a late hire, with the other, possible GMs coming in and spending as much time as they did in the building only to walk away, and the way that things went down, does this hire feel like this is all we got left?
I think it's actually if we were doing this podcast before he got hired, I'd be talking a big amount about what Stefanski said at the Cleveland Sports Awards, because I thought Stefanski was very mellow. He was not excited. He was not thrilled, but he wasn't depressed about, Peyton coming in and Peyton coming out, and Peyton turned down the job. It just seemed like Stefanski really, from my viewpoint, total guess, but I think Stefanski was pushing Peyton. I think what it shows already is it's not a divided building by any means. But already you can tell, again, DePodesta is leading this ship. Yeah. Yes, I agree. Please just do, do whatever we did back in 16, 17 to the opposite.
Yeah, Dan Monis comments on Facebook, follow Mel Kiper's guidebook. All
will be good. Seriously. And again.
Mel kind of drives me up a wall, but okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing, too, about this whole thing was Stefanski last week at the Cleveland Sports Awards. You could tell George Payton was his guy. It doesn't mean he can't work well with Andrew Berry. But again, Jared, it's already one of those little things already. It's one of those little things, it's like DePodesta's ruling this thing. And DePodesta's a guy who's, obviously they couldn't make the hire on Friday because DePodesta was in California and he doesn't want to travel because he's got, life and beach to go to. So, obviously he can't get a plane trip this week because he's going to be in Super Bowl week. So obviously they're going to do this whole press conference. Sounds like next week they're going to do the whole thing because Super Bowl week taking over. But again, Jared, it's a little thing that feels odd. Even before Andrew Berry starts, I think it already feels a little odd. Am I wrong? Because if George Payton seemed to be more of a Stefanski guy from the comments I saw and from the reaction I saw from Stefanski. Again, it doesn't mean Stefanski can't work well with Andrew Berry, but again, it's already a weird, odd start. Odd start on top of it being a young GM. And on top of being a guy who was in the building when it was 131. It's weird. Doesn't mean it's going to go bad, but it's just weird. It's a weird, odd start.
Let's also recognize that being drowned out in all of this, and I think we have to touch on it as often as we can, Baker Mayfield is now dealing with what is going to be his fourth collection of coaches.
Yes. By the way,
So
real quick,
it's funny because I feel like we are taking a guy who has clearly shown talent and finding a way to fuck him up.
so let's
and
go
that makes me nervous. But anyways,
quickly through those coaches. We'll do a whole thing after the Super Bowl. So I get the feeling the Browns are going to make official announcements. We know Bill Callahan has the offensive line job. Good offensive line coach. Nothing wrong there. Fine. His name is slipping me. And the special teams coordinator is coming back. Great. That's fine. He did a nice job. Fine. No more Dontrell Hilliard doing catches, but all right, fine. All that to be said, the defensive coordinator that they're going after for the 49ers is not committed yet. That is not official. There's also been some rumors about Ben McAdoo coming into Berea, which would be an interesting mix with Beckham and their history. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's definitely weird. Again, I'll add it. It's not good. It's weird. That's a weird vibe.
It's starting to feel like they're just patching this thing up.
It feels weird. The whole thing feels weird. And the thing is, everything's moving slow, yet it feels rushed. I understand that statement you made a few minutes ago. Andrew Berry was kind of the last guy left, but Jared, I think Dee Podesta wanted Andrew Berry to begin with. It kind of reminds me of McDaniels. Remember when Jimmy was kind of interested to see what McDaniels has to say to the table? I got the feeling that Stefanski really, really wanted Peyton to come in and interview a couple times to show what they can do. And after a couple weeks, and Peyton didn't even respond, and then basically said, "Look, I haven't even heard back. I'm just taking my name out of this," and he did. It's weird. Browns are a weird team.
Goes back to what I said on the prior episode. I don't have any faith in any of this ever working out.
It's a weird
because of who owns the team and who is making these decisions ultimately at the end of the day.
It's a weird start. And Stefanski's having a weird start. Again, if he can't get this defensive coordinator to come over from the Niners to coach defense for the Browns, it's another weird miss. It's a miss. What's going to happen on offensive coordinator? You can tell it's taken everything in Cleveland right now is taking forever. I mean, it is taking forever. This GM took forever. I thought the coaching search went okay. I didn't think it went too slow, but it went okay. But I'll tell you, Jared, again, everything seems to be moving slow. Can't confirm the Niner guy wants to come over to the Browns. Can't quite confirm Big McAdoo's coming into town. George Payton, we thought about it, but everything's like hedging bets. Very analytical. Very analytical. Not saying this won't end up bad. I'm not naive. You got to let this play out. But as we talked about last year, these are not wins and losses on and off the field. But for a PR start, remember how high we were about the Browns? It's the exact weirdo feeling this year. This team feels weird. I'm not saying bad, it feels weird. It's a strange team right now. Strange. Murky. Gray. And then you get Kareem Hunt. And this Kareem Hunt situation is weird too. To people who haven't seen today, Jake Trotter reported on Monday. There's this whole dash cam that kind of pulled over. It's a play-by-play of everything that happened. We will not read it here, but people should read the articles. I thought it was very interesting. The officer really did everything in his power not to get Hunt in trouble. He tried everything, and then eventually he said, look, I found pot. I got to take it in. Like, I can't do that. And you can tell Hunt's already feeling remorse, and you can tell that Hunt basically admitted that he probably was smoking or ingesting it, whatever he was doing at the moment. So there's that whole thing going around. The whole thing about marijuana with players and all that. I think marijuana is such a low. It shouldn't be in anything. We all.
Andy, from my perspective, as a cannabis proponent, I'm not going to. I don't want to conflate. I get it. Break the rules. Whatever. The rules are there. Got it. Shouldn't have had it in the car. Should at least have a medical license. Whatever it is, just do the right thing as an individual. Now,
and not telling truth to the police officer.
The dumb thing, not the dumb. Don't do the dumb thing.
Yeah,
you don't even have to do the right thing. You just don't have. I mean, because at the end of the day, right or wrong isn't necessarily connected to
correct
law. Laws are wrong all the time. There are plenty of laws on books across the country that are absolutely wrong and shouldn't be there.
Right.
Thousands that don't get even enforced ever. So he's got to be smarter. At the same time, the NFL has got to wake the fuck up over this issue.
Has to, because the way this article reads, okay, let's end on that point. The whole marijuana topic in the NFL really needs to be brought up. There's a whole CBA thing about us that's coming up. There's going to be a big topic about the 17th game. Don't be surprised if that 17th game, whatever, I think the 17th game will happen no matter what. The owners are going to really fight for it. Don't be surprised, though, something that they have to give back or whatever is players saying, hey, marijuana needs to be put on some sort of different list or whatever.
It absolutely needs to be brought up.
Yeah. And it needs to be. And I would not be surprised with this. Back to Kareem Hunt and the current and now with the rules that are given here. Kareem Hunt's career to me in Cleveland's probably not going to end. I don't know if it's going to end here next year. I think this is now getting more murky with him too. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. The NFL is going to obviously look into it. Now, as the Browns are looking into it, because if it breaks some sort of, I don't know, we don't really know what kind of list he's on with the commissioner. They don't really provide that stuff, so we're not really sure where this falls within that list, what happened to him previously. But Jared, I'll be honest with you, this kind of thing he's not an unrestricted, but he's a restricted free agent.
Like, what are we doing? Are we waiting another 8 games to get him back this year? Like,
I know.
It's just so.
And I really, for everything, I did not want Kareem coming here because of what happened. Now that Kareem's been on the team, I've actually enjoyed him and enjoyed what he's done and really been happy with him. I will say, though, these kind of things, again, I can't see him coming back. I'll be honest with you right now. I think it's going to be hard unless he is exempt and everything's proven out to be, everything's okie dokie. But from what I'm reading in this story and kind of reading in between the tea leaves here and just making an educated guess, I don't think he'll be Brown next year, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't see how it works out. I
just don't see it.
I don't. And it's such a bummer too, because you sit there and you're like, you know that they didn't scheme correctly to take full advantage of that backfield last year. And what could have been, yet again, what could have been, Andy, what could have been.
Yeah. Well,
damn it. I was having such a good Monday.
I know. Well, that story, again, for people who have not read it, it's on ESPN.com. Jake Trotter, the Browns beat reporter for ESPN.com, reported it. It's an interesting story. And again, this officer really did as much as he could to get Kareem Hunt off the hook. He tried every which way possible. But obviously, once he found the marijuana in the bag, he knew he had to do it. He had a job to do, and he had to do what he had to do. Take the bag and ask him some questions about it. You have to. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do when you're doing a job. So we'll have to see what happens to Kareem Hunt. More on that. We'll report next week. We're obviously not doing a show next week with the Super Bowl. Once the Super Bowl settles down, once the press conference is done with Barry, we'll come back and do a show. We'll see what coaches are. I would assume by then you'll know the assistant coaches by everything by then. So we'll talk about that, and we'll see where Kareem Hunt is a week from now. If that's even decided, who knows? I mean, these things that we've all learned through the days of going through with situations like this. The guy's escaping my name right now, the wide receiver for Baylor, Gordon. These situations usually don't go fast. They usually take a little bit of time. So we'll have to see. But that is something to keep your eye on. And again, I thought the article was very, it wasn't even really an article. It was just reporting what was seen on the tape. It's fact. I mean, it's not even hearsay. I mean, it's just factual about what happened there. It'll be interesting. Be interesting to see. And again, I think for Andrew Berry, to wrap it up before we get to the Dolan comments, Andrew Berry has a lot to do. I know everybody talks about how this is a great roster and, there's a tough year, but I still think, Jared, there's a lot more work to do. Doesn't mean the Browns can't win, but there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do. Andrew's got a lot of stuff to do here between now and March before free agency starts.
How do we do this? Why do we do this? Why?
I don't know.
Why?
Well, to get a better vibe on Barry. I'm reserved.
I was born into this. I didn't even have a choice.
I know. I'm going to reserve judgment on Barry till after the press conference. I want to hear what he has to say. And then we'll go from there. All right. So then when things couldn't get, so last week, the Dolan family was announced they were going to get the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Cleveland Sports Awards. And, for what award it was. And I even thought to myself, this will be an interesting moment for Dolan because he can really take an interesting seat here and really, maybe not give
what
a full.
The heck, Andy? I apologize. I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Click on a comment and a video popped up. Go ahead.
No worries. So Dolan, I thought, had an opportunity here not to maybe do a formal apology, but to kind of give a soft landing to what was going on in the offseason before the season of 19 started. But towards the end of his speech, he said this, quote, "We have a good crop of young players. We saw them start to develop last year. And of course, we have some old stars, one of them who happens to play shortstop, who I know I'm going to enjoy. I'm not sure I can tell you people to enjoy him, but he's certainly fun to watch. And I look forward to October baseball."
He couldn't wait to pick that scab that was almost healed, huh? He couldn't wait. He couldn't help himself.
This to me is cut and dry. I'm not saying the Dolans don't do good things. I'm not saying the Dolans are bad people. This guy's fucking lost. How the hell can you say that at Cleveland Sports Awards when all it is Cleveland fans watching the goddamn thing? And that's your choice of words at the end of the speech?
He just thought he was being funny?
He lost. I didn't think it was funny. Did you think it was funny?
I can't laugh at it. I can laugh at it. This is my I can't believe it laugh is what
I mean, when I read that, I was like jaw on floor. I was like, he could not help himself.
No.
Jared, there is a thing in life. College basketball analysts talk about this more than anything else, but I'll talk about it here in life. Time and score, right? Well, I want to talk about time and place. Okay. It's not the time to be bringing it up at a Cleveland Sports Awards banquet, which is really around the foundation of fans in the community.
While you're being awarded and recognized.
The Lifetime Achievement Award.
Let me rub your nose in it.
I just think he does not. I actually know he does not fucking get it. He doesn't fucking get it. That's a shitty comment. It's enough. Leave it alone. Shut up. Make some efforts. Why can't you sign him? And by the way, here's the biggest problem of them all. Why can't you try to re-sign him? You just unloaded a bunch of salary. Your salary's in the 21st, 22nd. I think it depends on the day. I mean, I'm sure signings happen all the time. But
he's competing with Three Rivers apparently over there with the
you make
$43 million salary with the Pirates.
I just think, again, time and place. Not the time, not the place. At a bar with your friends with no one listening, like people, hey, fine, I get it. That's a good joke. In front of people, right now, when you're doing the Cleveland Sports Awards show, lost. So that happened last Wednesday. Then the Cavs. I have nothing more about Dolan. Nothing. It was stupid. And by the way, the biggest point here is, why aren't you not making efforts to re-sign Lindor? Period. End of sentence. Why do we have to enjoy him? Why can't we bring him back? Or try to?
Because Dolans aren't making enough money. They're losing money.
That's bullshit too. That's for another show. And I'm going to do that show. We're not doing that show today. We got our own award show. Not the first annual, first ever. All right. Poor English on my part today. The Cavs did win. So thank God. They've now lost 7 out of 8. They won tonight. Thank God. Kevin Porter Jr. is back, and so are the Cavs, evidently. I did watch some of this game tonight.
Playing like slugs, huh?
They played like, yes, they played like slugs.
They've been playing like slugs.
We'll be bringing that up during our award show. But here's the big thing that I would get into about the Cavs team before tonight, and I'll get into tonight. These losses were alarming. You hit it on the open. You can rebuild, but when you lose to the Bulls twice, when Zach LaVine's going off, the Knicks just dominated you at home, and then you can't beat you're really not competitive against the Wizards. It was getting alarming. It was getting alarming. Now, if Kevin Porter Jr. it comes back and you win by 15, that is something to circle now. Because that is something where it's like, so he comes back and they win by 15 on the road against Detroit, where they could not even compete in the last 7 games.
You genuinely think it's because
No, but I think it's interesting. Am I wrong?
no, it's not.
It's interesting. Here's some other thoughts about these last 7 games. Okay, on tonight's game, Sexton made great passes. In these last 7 games, Sexton, the only thing, and he played better tonight, so did Garland. But Sexton and Garland, those last 7 games, their defense was atrocious. It was so bad. Now, tonight, Sexton did play. I watched him. He was doing much better defensively. Still getting periods on the floor where he's lost, but much improved. Garland did a nice job defensively tonight. They both look good. But Kevin Porter Jr. running around, they looked like a different energy tonight. The defense in these now tonight, defense at times was still not great, but is better. The defense in those last 7 losses was awful. I mean, it was terrible. And missing layups. And this guy, I feel for him. I know he's maybe banged up, whatever else. I'm now there. Exum stinks. Sorry. He stinks. I do not get this trade at all. I've seen enough.
Yeah,
now.
but
another guard.
We didn't have expectations from the beginning, Andy.
Right, but why the fuck are we making trades like this? We're getting a guy like Exum.
We said it when it happened. I have no idea what they're.
I have no idea. You just watch Exum play, and you're like, I don't know. I mean, he's okay at best.
Right.
And you're taking on a guy who's injury prone for 2nd-round draft picks. Like, I don't know. Here's the big thing, though. Even with this win tonight, and the Cavs, you hate to say it about a team that's not going any places, but they needed this win tonight. Here's something else. We talk about big off seasons for Andrew Berry. You want to talk about a big one? It's big for Mr. Altman. Big off season.
Well, you got to figure that guy's got the entire organization on his shoulders at this point. So,
all that being said, you got to start winning games. You got to start winning games next year. This shit's not this. It's going down this hill. We've seen this. It's going down that road. By the way, I'm gonna start doing this watch. I want the kid from Dayton. I want him. I don't know. I don't have his name in front of me. He is that guy.
I haven't watched any college basketball this season.
He is outstanding. The Dayton's
when
ranked.
The Buckeyes started losing, I decided I wasn't going to watch.
Boy, they have been on a bad run. Little football hangover.
I don't know what happened to me. I was like, I'd watch religiously. I knew everything. And now I just, for the past 3 years, I've
been watching a lot this year. But the kid from Dayton is a star. And they've already projected him to go top 3, and they're projecting the Cavs. On 2 or 3 mock drafts, the Cavs have been drafting him. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Big dude, runs the floor. That's what we need. Big guy. I'm going to talk about him more, too. That is what I'm getting excited about. But I'm glad the Cavs won tonight.
I don't know. I got to tell you, from the highlights that I've seen and the way that we've been talking, I wish we had Zion.
Oh my God, I know. I will say, though, Garland has had moments of hope. And Porter's had moments of hope.
Yeah, well, okay.
And Kevin, I mean, look, I'm grasping at straws. I'm grasping at straws here, but I don't. The thing is about the Cavs, before this 7-game losing streak, I was seeing things where I didn't think it was that bad. I will say last week was awful. You can read the Twitter page. It was awful. There were moments where the Cavs had no purpose, walking around lost. Love 2, Tristan 2. Everybody lost. No purpose. We're just playing to play. Let's get get the fuck out. Like when was this game over? Let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, I don't know what they're going to do to change any of this. So I have no.
Well, they got Jared. Garland can play. Porter can play. They had Sexton. I still think he's a good player. I know he's not being as good this. He had a much better.
Is Beeline around for his entire contract?
I really want to give Beeline a chance. I do believe. Okay, here we go. I still believe in Beeline, and I'm on an island.
Okay.
I'm on an island. There's not a lot of people.
I'm indifferent because I don't know what you do differently anyways. Like,
I see things on the Cavs where it's like you could have some other 10 other coaches. I think the Cavs would be about 12, 13, 14, 1 right now.
Yeah.
Now, in year 2 and year 3, if this is the same thing, I have a problem.
Well, you're right, and that's where Kobe Altman comes in.
Huge. Kobe Altman's big years next year. Yeah. Huge. Must improve. And I'll tell you, it stinks. We haven't said his name because he's been injured. He's out for the year now. It stinks that kid Windler didn't even play a bucket this year for the Cavs. Out for the year, coming back next year, the kid out of Belmont. That's the thing, too. Aaron hit this hard on our last podcast, and I'm sure the studies would say the same about the NBA, but that's why it bothers me all these draft picks for the Browns. The draft is a shoot. It's a crapshoot.
No matter who it is.
No matter who it is. And so when you have things in there and you're like, is it guaranteed? Is it guaranteed? Nothing's guaranteed. Be careful of that. Silly statements like that. So that's why I get really itchy about draft picks now.
Yeah.
I'm glad Aaron said that. That's the way I've always felt about it. And, it's like, hey, we're going to get a good draft pick. Let's tank. It's a crapshoot. The kid from Dayton could all of a sudden break his ankle. By the way, everybody loved Tua. And then the Arkansas game happened. It happens. Life can change like that, and bad things.
This is the most depressing episode we've done in a while.
I got some fun things. You want to talk about fun things?
I am. I'm ready to move on because
Super Bowl prop bets.
Funny.
Now,
Cleveland sports is depressing me. Who'd have guessed? Who'd have realized?
It is not good. There's no bueno. All right. Love that the Chiefs won that game, by the way. Love the Chiefs won. Was indifferent about the Niners. It's weird that Kyle Shanahan, boy, for everything we've done here, herky jerky and come and go. Boy, Kyle Shanahan, I guess he knew what he was doing, huh? So that didn't work out. Oh, well. All right. So the Chiefs.
I love, I'm not going to worry about Jimmy G. It's the running game at this point.
Yeah, right. So the Chiefs right now are -2. We did this last year. They have a coin toss this year. That's 50-50, which is awesome. God, wouldn't you love the coin toss, not 50-50. Some of the point bets that I'm seeing this year, who will win the Super Bowl MVP and think first? Teammates plus 125, God plus 200, coach plus 800, family plus, I like this bet.
Yeah.
Who does not think anyone is plus 400. It's a good one.
Are there apps to do prop bets? I got to find something.
Yes. Will Jennifer Lopez or Shakira outfit have a malfunction?
Nah.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody says no. Minus 2,000 for the no.
That's cool. That's it's been there.
Will Shakira and Jennifer Lopez kiss? Ooh. Plus 800 for yes. Again, minus 2,000 for 50, no. Yeah. Okay. This is a good one. Will Jennifer Lopez show butt cleavage?
Is there a hopefully as an option?
Yes, it's plus 500. That's not terrible. They're thinking it might happen. Lip sync issues.
Nope.
Yeah, they say minus 1,500 for that.
And
so
I got to see how they define issues too, because that feels like there's some gray area there.
Sure. Well, Alex Rodriguez, I like this bet. Will Alex Rodriguez be shown during halftime? Will there be a cutaway of Alex? He loves the camera. This is pretty 50-50. Plus 200 for the yes. That's pretty 50-50. That's pretty 50-50. So it gets. Well, let's see. Will Jay-Z be shown during halftime? Minus 1,300 for no. Boy, they think he is not going to be shown. How many wardrobe changes will Jennifer Lopez have? This is a great bet.
3.
You hit the number. 2.5. 2.5. That's great.
3 is a magic number.
It is the magic number, to say the least. Let's get to a couple more, and then we'll get to our award show. Again, you can go on any of these websites. I think these prop bets are interesting now. As I look through some more, I'll ask you first. Who do you like in the game, Chiefs or Niners?
Oh, boy.
Tough game. And only -2 for the Chiefs. This is a tough. This is a coin flip game.
I honestly don't know. I think the Chiefs, to be honest, but it's going to take – they're going to have to get around that defense. I think I'd take the Chiefs in this.
I think it's Andy Reid's time. I did not realize how bad the Packers were going to play in that game.
It was awful.
My God, what a terrible game! And the second half of the Titans game was not very good either.
They were the worst 13-3 team.
I mean, that was accurate there. Aaron Rodgers looks old. That's my other thing I got out of that game. Aaron Rodgers.
It was not looking good.
No. I would actually say I think the Chiefs just have too much firepower. I know the Niners have a good defensive front. I just think the Chiefs are just too dangerous. I just think they're too fast. Even for the Niners, who are very athletic and young, I think Chiefs speed's gonna really bother them. And I don't think the Niners offense has enough to keep up with the Chiefs offense. So I think the Chiefs win. Like 7 points, 38-31. I really hope it's a close game. God, last year's Super Bowl was dreadful between the Rams and Patriots. Dreadful.
You didn't like all that defense?
Ugh. God, awful game. Awful game. All right, are you ready for our first award show?
Yeah, let's do it. First ever award show. Yeah, we didn't do any. There's no production for any of this. None.
Going off the Cleveland Sports Awards, we said to ourselves over the weekend, hey, we should do our own awards. So we're going to go through it today. We're going to go through our own awards. I will read off a question.
These are the nominees, and we're each going to give our. We're going to have different winners or the same.
Yes. You could have a big winner or a split every time.
Okay.
And we'll post these on the blog, and everybody can vote for their own.
Do you want to alternate reading off like we would do?
I'm going to read them all off, and we're going to go first, back and forth.
All right, fine. You're an awards hog.
I love being the game show host. I am the game show host.
All right, game show host.
But I will let you answer the first question, then I'll answer the second one. And here we go.
All right.
First award. What in the hell happened moments to the Browns in 2019 on the field?
What in the hell moments?
The nominees are opening game, opening drive, then the rest happened. Losing to a quarterback named Duck is the second nominee. Miles Garrett incident fallout. That was a what the hell moment to say the least. I think that's gonna be in a couple categories this year. Freddie Kitchens turning his back to the field on multiple occasions in multiple games, and then a goodie 10 men on the field during a Mixon touchdown in Week 17. Jared, I'll give you the first. This is again a good category here.
It's tough because Miles feels like he should win every one of these, but I got to tell you that from jump, Browns opening game, opening the drive, and then the rest happened. That's it.
It was stunning. It was really stunning because that first drive,
that's
that
as
first
fucking Cleveland as it gets.
It was like going to the playoff. Woo! And then the rest happens.
If you think of just all that was set up after. All right.
I will give it to Freddie Kitchens turning his back on the field. Miles Garrett is a close running up, but I must say, for a coach who was losing his job, as we all felt, for him to be turning his back on multiple plays in multiple games, that I really was bothered by that. All these were good nominees, though. Second category: what in the hell happened moments to the Browns off the field? Nominees are Hollywood Higgins going MIA, T-shirt gate with Freddie Kitchens, John Dorsey leaving the Browns. Again, all good nominees. I'm actually gonna give this one to John Dorsey leaving. I was shocked. If you had told me at the beginning of the year that he was gonna be gone, I would have lost my house. I really didn't think it was going. The T-shirt gate was strange and odd for sure. Higgins MIA is really, that was a weird moment, but I'll give it to John Dorsey leaving.
Because I still don't know what the hell happened with this, am giving it to Hollywood Higgins going MIA. We're going to play the guys that give us the best chance to win any given week. That's all we got. That's not what happened. I need to know what happened. I need to know. By the way, is Hollywood Higgins going to be with the Browns now?
Boy, that's a good question.
Right? Good
question. I'll tell you what, that picture, if I were Freddie, that picture of him after Thanksgiving, I would sign that and you could sell on eBay. That is a famous photo now. Famous photo. The what in the hell happened play calls to the Browns in 2019 nominees. Boy, this is a good category. May not be back next year, we hope, but this is back this year. And here we go. The nominees are pitch plays. You can say any of them. And this includes screen passes behind the line of scrimmage or bubble screens, where the fuck you want to call them. Pitch plays is what I termed. Nominee number 2, the 4th and 9 handoff against the Rams. That was a goodie. Did not go over. I got 2 yards on that play. Baker Mayfield quarterback sneak on 4th and 1 against the Broncos. God, I remember that play. That is our nominee number 3. And then you can tell I termed this one. Number 4 is Hilliard touching the ball at any point for those who want specifics. The end of the game play where the ball bounced right off his hands and the Seahawk intercepted to end the game. Those are your nominees. Jared, you get to go first this time.
4th and 9 handoff against the Rams. What in the hell is going on with your connection? There you are.
Okay. Just like any award show, you had to play through technical difficulties. I you know this. I hate these pitch plays. They didn't work in week 1.
You'd do this.
They didn't work in week fucking 10, and you still fucking ran them. Bubble screens, plays on line scrimmage, they're all fucking bad. Again,
right there on the line of scrimmage, yes. I don't necessarily hate the pitch plays because I know that the pitch is supposed to make it a pass so that you don't fumble, whatever. I understand that, but my God, these plays.
We called them.
They were just terrible.
Oh, they called them constant. I'll tell you, all these are good nominees again. Hilliard's interception, though, off his hands was a big moment in the year for the Browns. That was a bad loss. And why in the hell is he in the game in that spot? That is just unbelievable. All right. Would have lost my house award, meaning you would have bet this at the beginning of the year. No chance this was going to happen. Shocked it happened. The nominees are, of course, Myles Garrett, helmet toss on Rudolph. The Browns finishing with double-digit losses. John Dorsey gone. Baker finishing in the bottom half of QB rankings.
Calling out my own lack of awareness to the history of the Browns, I have to say Browns finishing with double-digit losses. I never saw it coming. Never.
This is a clean sweep. The Browns finishing double-digit losses is shocking. Shocking.
More shocking than Myles Garrett whapping his helmet.
That was stunning too. He'll be in another category though.
Still not as stunning. Still not as stunning.
I know. Because even when that happened, I said, well, the Browns could still make them. We were so disillusioned. I will say, too, though, all those are shocking. Baker finishing the bottom half of QB rankings is shocking.
Yeah.
Shocking. The Browns' favorite penalty of 2019. And after this, we started mixing in other teams, but these first few are Browns focused. The nominees are false start, personal foul, and a goodie that happened way too much. Illegal formation. My favorite was illegal formation because you would think for a team, this is a college type of penalty. And usually after a while, you're like, hey, this doesn't happen. I watch a lot of NFL. There might be illegal formation once in a while. The Browns had it multiple times in a game. Multiple times in a game. Throughout the year. It's amazing.
If I could just vote for pre-snap penalties in general, I would just vote for that. But I can't. So I'm just going to go with a good old-fashioned false start.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing that starts a drive, a game off perfectly, quite like a false start. A false start.
In the Patriots game, in 2 different series, they had multiple false start penalties in a row. Multiple. It's amazing. Should have known better in 2019. Now we're incorporating all the teams.
Mm-hmm.
The nominees are should have known better in 2019. Cavs being fun to watch. Indians making the playoffs. Browns being good and stable. Freddie Kitchens being a good coach.
Damn it, this is hard.
Tough category. Should have known better in 2019.
There are 3 solid choices.
I guess the Cavs being fun to watch, you could guess that may not have happened. Boy. I will say, I gotta say, Browns being good and stable.
And I gotta say, Freddie Kitchens being a good coach.
It's amazing.
I swear to God, like, what the fuck were we thinking? And I don't mean this in a way that Freddie, like, listen, Freddie's gonna be, what is he, a tight ends coach now for the Giants?
Good for him.
Freddie landed on his feet. Freddie's doing what he should be doing. That's fine. This was way too much handed to Freddie to begin with. I get that. I'm not trying to disparage Freddie Kitchens, but at the same time, what the fuck were we thinking?
It's amazing.
I was drinking all of the Kool-Aid, all of it. I was stealing people's Kool-Aid. I wanted all of the Kool-Aid. Give me the Kool-Aid. I'm drinking it all. What was I thinking?
Amazing. And I'll admit, for 2 weeks, I thought the Cavs were going to be fun to watch. I can't believe I thought that.
Yeah, I was hopeful that they would.
I know.
That's all.
The wow quote of the year.
Mhm.
Wow quote of the year from players. The nominees are Trevor Bauer dating tips and criticizing teammates. The Dolan issues and enjoying Lindor. He did this multiple times. And Baker Mayfield giving shade to the training staff. And number 4, the Whitehead comments threatening someone's life in the press. All good nominees.
With Whitehead, again, it's a very Browns thing. I wasn't surprised. I'm like, oh yeah, of course he's doing that. We're the Browns. This is what we do. Some shit like this happens. Come on now. No surprise there. Trevor Bauer, I've always known he was kind of a dick. Granted, he's getting some good media coverage lately because of him calling out the Houston Astros and being proven right in some cases. Baker Mayfield was very surprising.
That was shocking.
It was a bad look for Baker. But I have to tell you that Dolan complaining about his money issues on multiple occasions and telling us fans to enjoy Lindor while he's here, that's his advice. He can take that quote and shove it right up his ass because that's my wow quote of the year.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm doubling down. It's a clean sweep. Dolan not only doing it multiple times, but taking a whole year to do it again.
Oh my God.
Is amazing. Dolan, clean sweep category. I promise everyone out there they'll get more positive as we go. Headlines, players making the most buzz on and off the field. This is a loaded category. The nominees are OBJ and the Browns. You can pick anyone. Baker Mayfield, the Browns. You can pick anyone. Tristan Thompson, his love life is always in the news and press. And everybody's favorite, Trevor Bauer. I'm actually going to take the lead on this.
Yeah.
Trevor Bauer, to me, came out with a rush of energy. So I'm actually going to give Trevor Bauer this award because up until the day he got traded for the Indians, he really did a good job in a sport that is not day-to-day of staying in the news almost weekly. Bauer was there every day, commenting, doing something, social media, commenting on bullies on social media. He was there from day one. I mean, Trevor made an effort to create buzz, so I want to give him this award for his efforts.
I think I agree with you. Not on purpose. It all started with arbitration last year and just never fucking quit with that guy. Never quit. On and off the field, all the way to the point where he wasn't even on the team anymore. And yet there he was having his own press conference in the middle of a game. The article in The Athletic that had me giving him a little bit more empathy than I ever have. All of it, good and bad. Trevor Bauer, Indians. He's the one.
For a baseball player, I have never seen that. I mean, from day one.
Yep.
It was amazing. The cup of coffee in 2019. These are players that come and go in a town, and they basically quickly come and go with minimal impact. So this is the 2019. The nominees are Max Moroff, for people who don't remember. We got him in a trade for the Pirates, for the Indians. Carlos Gonzalez, remember him? You got him from the Rockies. He only played, I think a week or two. We just mentioned him throughout. Rashard Hollywood Higgins, he caught that one touchdown against the Bills-Browns game. You defy me. I think he caught 1 or 2 passes outside of that. And then J.R. Smith, who didn't even play in 2019, but was yet in our minds and in our hearts. The cup of
walking
coffee,
around Cleveland and shit.
Just being in the news. I can take the lead on this one too if you want. Obviously Higgins is interesting, but because he actually caught a touchdown pass, I'm going to not give it to him. I gotta say, it really was J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith was in the news enough. He didn't do anything. Got paid, I think, $50 million. Did his thing, came out there. It was one of the most. I mean, you can't have any impact when you don't play. But he was felt. He was in the news.
I'm gonna fight this connection. This is really pissing me off. Andy, where are you? Are you there?
I see you. Do you see me? Yeah.
What the shit, man? What is going on with our connection tonight? We're both hardwired. Verizon Fios. I pay more than enough for internet only. This should not be happening.
They're giving you the cup of coffee award for their internet service.
Well, J.R. Smith, cup of soup award. I'm giving, and the same thing goes for this one. I don't think you can give it to anyone else other than J.R. Smith.
Yeah. Didn't do anything. Max Moore, but again, all these are good candidates. Max Moore, what do you play? A week?
Well,
Carlos Gonzalez, a week. All these are good, but
I was giving Max Moroff or Carlos Gonzalez. In fact, Carlos Gonzalez almost got it from me. But at the end of the day, J.R. Smith.
The UGG trade, the trade that really frustrated you in 2019 for the city of Cleveland. The nominees are Dante Exum and 2 second-rounders for Jordan Clarkson, Jernard Avery for a 4th-round pick, Duke Johnson, trade for a 3rd-round pick, and Kluber to the Rangers. I'm going to let you take the lead on the next one, but I'm going to take the lead on this. I do not care about the Kluber trade. I thought that was good, but I wanted to mention it. So I know there are some Indians fans who are upset by that.
Plenty of them.
Yeah. I really want to say Exum, but I'm going to go with what I know. I still think the Duke Johnson trade's a terrible trade. I don't understand that trade. It's going to frustrate me. That is, Dorsey is a good GM. He did have a bad year. And I remember that trade going, why would you do that for for a low mid-round pick? And you never know. And by the way, the Browns needed Duke Johnson throughout the year. Example A of the Seahawks game. He should have been catching the ball, not Hilliard. Duke Johnson trade. It's going to frustrate me forever.
I didn't want to have the same pick as you, but you're making that difficult. I'm still kind of stuck between Jernard Avery trade for the 4th-round pick because I don't know what will happen there. But hindsight being 2020 and looking at what Duke Johnson did this season and his contributions and the way that it went down because John Dorsey put his foot in his mouth, and that's what got the ball rolling with all of this. And now we're looking at Kareem Hunt, who isn't even gonna be on the team more than likely at the beginning of the season. The Duke Johnson trade for a 3rd-round pick.
Clean sweep. Wow. Clean sweep. Jekyll and Hyde player 2019. These are players that are very hot and cold depending on the game or even in the game.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is a loaded category. Nominees are Brad Hand for the Indians, for people who forget. Wonderful before the All-Star break, and then who knows what happened to Brad Hand. He had just a miserable second half. Trevor Bauer, for how much he drove you crazy, he would have great outings and bad outings and good innings. And he was all over the place. Sexton, I just mentioned. Sexton has moments where you go, gosh, he is so exciting, going to be a great player. Then he has lapses on defense, misses a lot of layups at times. And Baker Mayfield, we've gone through that stuff from beginning to end, so I'll let you go first. Jekyll and Hyde player 2019.
I have to go with Brad Hand.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I had a lot of anxiety, a lot hanging on, wondering what we were going to do, wondering if we were going to have to make a move, wondering what was going to happen, who was going to be able to pick up the back end. Brad Hand had me more stressed out than anyone this season.
Very strange year. Just a complete opposite from the All-Star break.
Jekyll.
I'm actually going to give Baker Mayfield. There'd be moments where he'd make throws. The Bengals game, again, the end of the year was a perfect example.
Yeah.
He'd make plays. He would look good. And then there'd be other moments he just looked terrible. Very, very weird. Very, very weird year. Not a good year, but very, very weird. Had moments. He'd have opening drives where he looked great. He'd have halves where he looked great. Then he'd have other just awful wheels coming off. So that'd be my nominee. But all of them are good. I was actually kind of torn between him and Bauer. Bauer drove me crazy last year because he'd have 2 good starts and he'd have a miserable start. It was just
it didn't work. But you were putting more faith into him than I was.
I
know. I didn't think he was. You were hoping that he'd be able to pick it up and be the ace that he was going to have to be. And I just had no confidence in him because I knew that he's a fake leader. He's not. He doesn't have the leadership qualities that are needed to be able to hold down that position in that rotation and be able to do what he needed to do with it. And he just completely imploded and then went to Cincinnati and didn't do any better.
Jared Watson hit Trevor Bauer on the nail from day one. You were right about him from day one. This is one of my favorite categories. I can't fucking believe that just happened moment on the field or off the court.
Yeah.
This is a good category. Nominees are Trevor Bauer throwing the ball over the center field.
I forgot about it because I thought this was going to be a sure thing. I thought I was going to know for sure what it was going to be, and now I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
Oh my god, that was an amazing moment.
Tito was like, and then he tried to be like, I'm sorry, Tito. And she was like, get the fuck out of here.
And Trevor Bauer throwing the ball over the center field fence again.
What the hell happened?
Oh my god, that was amazing. Miles Garrett helmet slam to Mason Rudolph. That moment on its own. Beeline saying thugs instead of slugs, and then the explanation and comments afterwards. And then late entry, because this was a throw-in. I did not have this last week. Dolan's comments during the Cleveland Sports Awards show, quadrupling down on his comments prior to the year. I'll let you go first. Good category. Lots of good stuff. This is an amazing year for Cleveland.
I can't because all right. The Trevor Bauer thing, if I'm gonna vote on this, I have to lay out how I'm making this vote.
Okay.
All right. So the Trevor Bauer thing was absolutely fucking absurd, right? I mean, it was just absolutely absurd. But I can't say I was totally surprised by his behavior, as absurd as it was. Okay. So that's that. So I have to go with the one that didn't even hit me over the head and initially as being as big of a deal as it was. I think when we were texting back and forth, everyone was losing their shit. And I was like, no big deal. Browns winning. Who cares? Because I didn't even catch that. Anyway, at any rate, Myles Garrett, helmet slam to Mason Rudolph. Hands down, I can't fucking believe that just happened on the field or court or off nominee. That's my
okay. All these are good. Any other normal year, any one of these categories, any one of these nominees would have won. This was not a normal year. I'm torn between the top two, Bauer and Garrett.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Bauer to be different. What he did and how he did it was so fucking unbelievable. Like, I remember watching it
live. At least we can laugh at this. Yeah.
Oh, I just remember watching it live going, holy shit, he just threw the ball over the center field fence. And to your point, the reactions afterwards were like, I'm sorry. And Tito, who does not get upset, following him down in the dugout.
Tito wanted to kill him.
Oh, basically throwing his career into Cincinnati with that throw. It was amazing. I can't fucking believe that just happened. Again, all these on a normal year would have won.
You say that as if we have any year that's a normal year in Cleveland sports.
Amazing.
You know, we're going to have these awards the same next year, and there's going to be crazy shit that we never thought was going to happen, and it's going to happen.
Now the card turns. We go a little bit more positive. Now, pleasant surprise player 2019. The nominees are Jordan Luplow for the Indians, who surprised me. The beginning of the year of April, you had told me he would be hitting in big spots in April. I mean, in August and September, I would have said, no way. He really improved as the year went on. Kevin Porter Jr., case in point tonight, he is a good player. Like, he does things on the floor. He makes the Cavs better. He is the first impact rookie we've had who makes players around him better. I like Darius Garland. I think he plays well, but Porter actually makes people on the floor better. Yeah. Mac Wilson was a surprise from training camp on, did a great job, really was at times the one guy you saw on the field play around with Schobert. Obviously, Myles Garrett. So all three of these are pleasant surprises. I'll actually let you go first here again. Pleasant surprise in 19.
Yeah, it's difficult here. I'm a big Mac Wilson fan. I really am. He's a pleasant surprise in my eyes here. Kevin Porter Jr. I don't watch enough of, but I know how much impact he's had with this Cavs team. He's shown out on a handful of occasions. And gotten some love from some NBA stars for that play. But I think I got to give it to Jordan Luplow because the kid grinded it out. And there's a lot of young talent on that team that has kind of done the same thing. And I'm pleasantly surprised that worked out and hopefully will continue to work.
You can make any arguments for Luplow, Porter, or Wilson. I'm going to give it to Porter Jr. I really do think, from my comments said earlier, he makes everyone play around him better. Can't wait to see in 2020 in Cleveland. The nominees are, again, can't wait to see in 2020 in Cleveland. These are people you just can't wait to see, or things you can see. The nominees are James Karinchak for the Indians. I can't wait to see him. Emmanuel Clase for the Indians. I can't wait to see him. Been hearing great things about him. Kevin Porter Jr., we just referenced. You got to go in season with the NBA. Darius Garland and analytics with the Browns, implementing analytics with the team and getting excited about that. Because again, you can't guess if we don't know who they're coming in for next year in the draft. I gotta stick with my guns here. I can't wait for Karinchak. Can't wait. I love him. He's nasty. He's really good.
Yeah.
I have been excited for him since I saw him in September. I am excited by Clase, but not as much as Karinchak. I love that guy. James Karinchak, the guy I can't wait to see in 2020.
I think if I'm just going to say can't wait to see the Cleveland Indians in 2020, that would take it from me.
That's true too.
I don't know that I can do that though in this situation. I think I'm going to have to go with analytics with the Browns.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of pressure for this to work, and this is analytics 2.0, and we've discussed it over and over again that it's not, the problem's not even going to be analytics. The problem's going to be analytics with the Browns. I want to see how they think this is going to play out. I want to see how this is.
I think it's fair. And as I mentioned, to see how it's going to work out. This is a singular nominee. Sad to see you go. And I think that this is a lifetime achievement award. Yes. And this goes to Corey Kluber. For people who have not read it, read the Athletic article that he wrote. He wrote a wonderful, really touching thank you letter. I agree with the trade, but that doesn't mean I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him go. Love Corey Kluber. Everyone needs to read. It's not the Athletic. I'm sorry. It's the Players Club. Read that article. Wonderful article. Corey Kluber, class act. I'm going to miss him. I already miss him. Miss Corey a lot.
Yeah, he's probably going to go. He's probably going to have his, how should I say this? It wouldn't surprise me if he won another Cy Young and won himself a World Series.
Yeah.
That's how I think it, that's how these things work out for us. I don't know. Corey Kluber, man, it's all changed with him gone. Things in that rotation were calm. Now you're just hoping. So let's put it this way, because it's hard to explain this. You're taking away your anchor. You're taking away the guy that was your number one, no matter you knew. And now you're hoping that the young guys that have shown plenty of ability, that one of them is going to be able to come up and be that distinct number one slot pitcher, that number one starter, and that's where I'm conflicted. So
I actually think because of how much he did in the playoffs in 2016, I mentioned this again a lot in the podcast, but I'll mention it here. Before Game 7 against the Cubs, Corey Kluber was having one of the all-time performances. He was going to have a statue built in Cleveland. He was carrying that team to a championship. Yeah. He really was. And it's to me why it's so sad. It's the end of that 16. We've said it before, but now it ended. But now I think 16 is gone. That 16 run's gone with Corey Kluber leaving town. He was really Andrew Miller too, but Corey Kluber did a lot. I don't think he gets remembered about enough, and that's why I'll always restate it. He did a lot for that team, and that article was wonderful. Everybody should go read it. The best story of 2019. We got 2 nominees for this. Both are really good. The nominees are Cookie Strong, what Carlos Carrasco battled with cancer, which was a wonderful, touching thing. And then Kevin Love's battle with mental health, which has been on numerous shows, Today's Show, to everywhere else. And his really being just out front of that whole thing and doing a great job of explaining what mental health means to him and how it affected him.
They both win.
I
can't do it. I can't do it. They both win. They're both very different fights. They're both very different battles. They're both very important to me. I have a background in mental health, and I absolutely loved the way that Carlos Carrasco came back.
Yeah, I think they're both great. I would lean towards Carrasco's. I think the whole city really, really, really galvanized around that. It was around the just the whole thing. And not that they haven't with Love, they have.
It was a different feel. The Cookie Strong thing felt more like a Cleveland thing.
Yeah.
The Kevin Love thing, it was more of a social media, people reaching out to him.
Yep.
Sort of nationwide thing
Yeah.
in a different way, though, a different medium where it was being displayed, I guess. It just was. I'm sorry, I don't mean to ruin that award. I know that you worked very hard on coming up with these awards, and this one, I just didn't feel like I could give it to either or.
No, by the way, no, that's fair. That's why we do these awards. The Rookie of the Year. The nominees are Mac Wilson for the Browns, Darius Garland for the Cavs, Kevin Porter Jr. for the Cavs, Oscar Mercado for the Indians. I will go first. I'm really torn between Porter and Mercado. Oscar Mercado at one point actually became a little bit of the energy and the lightning rod the Indians needed to get them through the dog days when they weren't hitting. And Oscar was really that savior. I want to give it to Oscar Mercado. I actually think he played above it, and I think he is here to stay. I don't know if he's all-star, but he is every day good. Really good player. Had a couple weeks here and there where he slumped, but really never slid too far back. Oscar Mercado is Rookie of the Year for me.
Hands down. No argument. Flat out. Said enough.
Yep. Best moment in the event of 2019. I think this is a clear winner. All-Star Game week and game in Cleveland. For people who don't watch the All-Star Game, the All-Star Game for MLB is by far, I think, I know the NBA All-Star Game gets a lot of watch too, but the MLB All-Star Game, I always thought it was in a special place. Middle of summer, there's no other sports going on. So it really has a stage all to itself. And I thought for a couple of years there, Jared, I thought the MLB All-Star Game had really slipped back. I read so many articles about how many people enjoyed the game being in Cleveland. National writers writing this, how they really took, how the fans were into the game. And with Shane Bieber winning the MVP was just a cherry on top of the Sunday. Awesome. It was a great week. But for Cleveland, not just to win it for the city, but to win it for the sport says a lot about the All-Star Game week.
So that game and all of that holds a special place in my heart because I was up in Cleveland I think the weekend prior. And then and I saw them beginning to set things up. They were practicing some things. Cops were out on horses. They were just whatever they were doing, setting up cones. They were getting things kind of ready downtown. And then my stepfather passed away and we were all in mourning. And while we had family coming in and out for 4 days straight, the entire thing was a blur. The entire garage was full of just fold out tables and card tables and chairs and food everywhere. And I remember, so Kenny Boschenek was my stepdad's best friend growing up, and his brother is the stats guy for the Browns, the Indians, and Cavs. You'll hear them talk about Boschenek in the booth at STO all the time. And of course, Kenny looks at me, he goes, "Hey, go grab the TV. Let's go put this All-Star Game on." Sure enough, we brought a TV outside and threw the game on, and that watching Bieber and being able to kind of escape for a little bit for that time. And then to also follow up and realize how amazing the city was in handling this entire thing. The 2019 All-Star Game is going to hold a special place in my heart forever. So yeah, no way to give it any other way.
Well said. And for a game to not only win the city over, but you win the sport over.
Yeah.
People thought the sport and the game was improved because of the event around the city. It says a lot about that event. The game of the year, or in most cases, the winner of the year. For people who probably just heard this podcast saying, did we win games? We did. We won games.
We won some games.
The Browns win over the Ravens in week 4 is nominee number 1. The Cavs victory in Denver against the Nuggets. The Nuggets are still in the top 3 in the West, by the way. The Tribe victory over the Twins on Sunday in August. The Santana home run, and more famously to me, the Naquin plate to plate that kept the game tied in the bottom of the 9th. The Twins scored 1 run, but the second runner coming right behind the runner got picked off by Naquin at the plate. Damn, this is tough. As I also think they were really good, and all of them on the road. Every single one of them. The Tribe one was in Minnesota too. You go first, actually. I need to think about this for a second.
I was at Nats Park watching the final Indians game of the year in one of the suites and watched the Browns game on a TV instead.
There you go.
Browns destroyed the Ravens, and that was a lot of fun. Browns win over the Ravens in week 4 was just something that it just felt good. That's my pick.
I'm going to go with the Tribe win over the Twins.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to that game with my kids. I was watching. We were running around doing a bunch of stuff for Jackson's football team, my oldest son. And I just will never forget. We were listening to Hamilton, Hammy on the phone. Jesus
Hammer's
Christ.
not calling the games, please.
No. Love him, but no. So we were listening to the Indians game with the Twins, and my son and I, Han was so struggling in the second half. Han gave up a double, and you could hear it, and it's like, and Hamilton goes, and the runners right behind the other runner were like, oh my God, they're going to lose this game. And he goes, Indy's out. I remember I almost got in a car wreck. I'm like, yes. And then we came back home in time to watch the Santana home run.
Yeah.
That game was the week where I said, my God, the Indians are going to get back in this. And I never thought they would.
I know.
And that was their crack in. That was a wonderful game. All 3 were great wins. And again, special when they're all on the road. All 3 were on the road in this case. This one is, again, a one-off. But for people who have not need to watch this video. Miss Cleveland of 2019 goes to Skylar Skarnecchia. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her last name
correctly. I think
yeah.
Right.
And this award, she was already given the Cleveland Clinic Courage Award during the 20th annual Greater Cleveland Sports Awards. Mm-hmm. There's a YouTube video on it. It is a heartwarming story. This 8th grader from the Cleveland area overcame a major medical obstacle, including cancer and a leg amputation. And she is playing still in competitive sports as an 8th grader with a smile on her face. And she went through hell and back. Watch the YouTube video. It is a heartwarming story. She is by far Miss Cleveland in 2019 on the field. It's a great, great story. Must watch. Mr. Cleveland 2019. Mm-hmm. Oh boy. Nominees are Frankie Lindor, Shane Bieber, Nick Chubb, Kevin Love, or Stipe, for those UFC fans out there. Even though I don't watch UFC.
I love Stipe. He's a funny dude.
You can go first. Go for it.
With that said, Nick Chubb. I wanted to make sure I gave Stipe some love. Nick Chubb, absolutely, hands down. There's not even an argument. There just isn't one. Now, granted, I love Shane Bieber. I love Frankie. I love Kevin. You can't go wrong with any of them. Nick Chubb gets it this year.
I'm going to double down because I want Nick Chubb to, if he ever listens to this podcast and feel loved, he represented Cleveland. He kept his mouth shut during the year where it would have been easy to spat off from the mouth. He didn't get proper love from the coach, and he played his ass off and was a star on his team in a year that had nothing going right on offense at times. Nick Chubb is also my Mr. Cleveland 2019. But it's close because you can give it to Shane Bieber too. Stipe too. Either one of the 3 would have been.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's tough. All right. We can't do 3 for this next category. Coach of the Year nominees.
Mike Prefer.
Oh my gosh. You remembered his name? I forgot.
We can do that.
Terry Francona or John Beeline. This is easy. It's Francona, right?
Yeah. Next.
Ready? These next 3 are pretty easy. You're going to see a theme. Executive of the Year. Altman, Antonetti.
Easy.
Antonetti.
Yep.
For those who whine and complain about Antonetti and Francona, just listen to these next 3. Coach of the Year is Terry Francona. Executive of the Year in City Cleveland, Antonetti. Not even close. Not even debatable.
Yeah,
in fact, the Browns can't even put nominees in our own show because they got rid of them. The Team of the Year. Browns, Cavs, Indians. Folks, it's not even close. The Indians smoke the field. It's the Indians.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Like I'm excited. So excited. Even with listen, let's say this real quick. I don't give a shit about what the White Sox or the Twins are doing. I don't care. Don't care. The Indians might win 100 games this year. Oh, I said it. I'm done. Now I'm done.
Does the Ringer need an article to have quotes? We are available.
No, don't quote me on a national article. No. The Ringer calling me? No.
So this is our first ever Cleveland Sports Awards. Hope everybody enjoyed as much as I did putting it together in Starbucks today.
Glad you
over
did.
the week.
Thank you.
Yeah, but again, I think, just to give the perspective for everybody who just wonders, there's a lot of shit that happened in 2019 in Cleveland. There's a lot of stuff. And so hopefully that show, obviously we did some tongue-in-cheek humor, but hopefully it helps relive the year that, times that we saw a starting pitcher throwing the ball to the center field seats all the way. Just unbelievable. Still unbelievable. Spaceballs, yes, EJ.
Throwing up the Spaceballs reference one last time.
One last time.
That's a theme that is continuing from other episodes.
Hey, I will say this for your one Spaceballs reference.
Shit.
We need that fucking rocket fuel, the barf, and the guy had. We ain't found shit. That was a great line, by the way. I will also say for our Spaceballs line, we need that jet fuel to help rocket the Browns and Cavs into the atmosphere.
Yeah, we got to throw out this one last one from Facebook. Who was watching? Jordan says his opinion is the best way to honor Kobe is for the WNBA to develop an expansion team, name them the Mambas. Because he was so into women's basketball during retirement, he would smile in heaven. Cool.
That's a great suggestion.
It's not a terrible idea, to be honest with you. I mean, that works. Thanks, Jordan, for tuning in. Hey, you were going to say something. Go ahead.
No, you do your thing, and then I'm going to wrap, and then bing, ping, ping.
Gotcha.
Go.
Well, if you want to shoot us an email, you can do so at andyandjared@gmail.com. Don't forget, follow us on Twitter at CLE and Beyond, at CLE and Beyond. Also here on Facebook, facebook.com/Cleveland and Beyond. Let's see what else. We are a part of Waiting for Next Year. Check them out. Original Cleveland sports reporting at waitingfornextyear.com. Go ahead, Andy.
Unless there's breaking news, we will be taking probably a good 8 to 10 days. After this sounds like now the press conference for Andrew Berry will be on Tuesday, Wednesday next week. I would not be surprised if Jared and I come on shortly after. We will also do, for people who did not listen to us last year, we do a 3-part review of the Brown season. We're going to do that throughout the month of February. I'm going to start working on it tonight, and we will do a repart look at. So we'll do a brief recap where everything's at live in Cleveland, and then we'll start doing a 3-part series of the review of the Browns. Last couple of things and thoughts to wrap up the week. I was really proud of my Boilermakers for stomping the shit out of the Badgers. Thought that was great. And again, I can't believe I'm in on a Cavs note. It's interesting how Porter Jr. comes back and the Cavs play this well tonight. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he holds that much levity, but that is interesting to me that the Cavs played that much harder and played that well with Kevin Porter back on the court. It's interesting.
For me, I would say it's not even February, and here I am already officially absolutely ready for baseball. That realization hit hard today.
When you do this award show and you talk about all the things that happened, the Browns had some moments for sure. They're not all negative, and the Cavs did too. The Indians, by far, are the driver of this train in this city.
Yep.
And it's going to be exciting to see what they're going to do in the spring.
All we need to do is hope that Dolan keeps his mouth shut.
Oh, my gosh. Last thought. You know what? We're good. Don't talk about that shit anymore. The joke didn't come off well. It came off weird. You're weird. Stop. Time and place. You don't bring in at a funeral, here's something I didn't like about the woman who's now passed. No. What you do is you pay respects. At an award, when you're getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, when you say, oh my God, we're so thankful. Thank you, everybody. We just see the large crowds at Progressive Field. We can't thank everybody.
Oh, you're gonna love this 2020 Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
Come and fill them seats.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So I have money to pay Frankie.
Yeah. I'm going to do a whole thing on this in March. I'm not going to do it tonight, but he cannot, again, I'll repeat, cannot do that again. You're done. Finito, as Shermer would say. Done.
Wow.
And thank God the GM search is over for the Browns. Thank God. Jared, I couldn't take another. I was going to go off, but they didn't do that tonight.
Well, let me say this too. Any more something else before then? Now I'm doing my not letting the show end part. Yasiel Puig is in play. I love that weird son of a bitch. So that's where I'm at with that one. I've been saying it from the beginning.
Here's the one thing with Puig, and this is an answer not for us, but for Antonetti and Francona and Turnoff. Is Daniel Johnson ready to come up? The young outfielder is supposed to be a complete stud.
Yeah.
I don't know. All that to be said, you can never have enough good infielders and enough good hitters. I would sign Puig if you can. If you can sign Puig and it makes sense, sign him. I'm with you. Puig has one thing that we don't talk about enough. He's got an arm. That guy kept runners at bay. When you see the highlights, it doesn't hit you when you see him play every day. Puig is a weapon.
You got to figure you're saving yourself maybe like a third of a run a game with that arm, right? I wonder if you could break down that number. I'm sure.
Watching what he did in right field, it was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a gun.
All right. I gotta go. I gotta go to bed, Andy. I gotta go to bed. Ready to wrap?
I'm ready to wrap. So again, we both like the Chiefs. Listen back and we'll come back 8 to 10 days, probably a couple days after the Barry signing. Yep. We will also do part 1 of the review of the Browns season and anything else that's going on in the Cleveland sports. And by the way, we're very close to pitchers and catchers going out there too. So it's all starting to ramp up again, to Jared's point. And then again, just harp on all the stuff that's going on. Hopefully, to what Jared said in the award show, the analytics will be good to see on the field. Hopefully.
He's Andy Billman. I'm Jared Watson. Andy and Jared, Cleveland and beyond. Talk again soon. Take care.
I say J-Lo does not show butt cheeks.
I hope she does. I'm kidding. I'm indifferent. If she shows them, great. If not, whatever. All right, bye.